Welcome to No Hacks Snacks, a series of short interviews with experimenters, optimizers, marketers, and product builders from all over the world. In this one, I talked to Lenka Stawarczyk. She's a brand strategy, content design, and product marketing specialist, and we discussed finding a balance between product clarity and brand voice. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel to get more videos like this in the future, and go to nohackspod.com/giveaway. Lenka, I have a question for you. Can product clarity survive brand voice?
Hi, thanks for having me. It's a tough question. There's definitely needs to be some sort of balance between tone of voice and marketing voice, a brand's voice, and product writing. For the past decade, the only source people had within product and also marketers was tone of voice manual, a style guide. If you were lucky. If you're not lucky, you only have like a brand manual with logo, fonts, and colors, and that's basically it. But if you were lucky in the past decade, you had a tone of voice manual. But this manual is basically a marketing asset, right? It doesn't really deal with the reality of users within products very often. It gives a direction on how you want people to feel when they interact with your brand, but not necessarily with your product, right?
Right.
So when there are situations like you are struggling with something and your brand is really like chatty, funny, and playful, it might not be the best place where to apply this brand's voice. And product teams often struggle with how to deal with tone of voice that feels like that when they are dealing with frustrated users. And sometimes it's not a problem. For example, Slack, they have quite similar brand's voice to product voice, and it really works. It works well most of the time. But for more complex products like financial apps, or I usually also like work in crypto and blockchain, which is very stressful and very confusing sometimes, you really need to be much more careful. It's not just, like a nice, fuzzy feeling you're trying to create with your brand's personality. You have to think about the user.
No, that was a great example. You have a friendly, chatty tone of your brand voice, and then you have a customer who's not happy and is asking for a refund or whatever. This is where these two collide, obviously, and it's not going to work well if you try to be chatty and friendly with an angry customer. The question for you there is, should product clarity and product copy and all that and brand voice fight, and then whoever wins gets to say what needs to be done, or how can they work together?
I think it's really important that product people are basically invited to the table when the brand's voice is being crafted and discussed, because they bring a certain like unique point of view, because they have the user's experience at their heart, right? And sometimes marketing just speaks to buyer persona and product to user persona, and buyer persona doesn't even have to use the product at the very end. They might not even get in like a real hands-on experience with the product. So I think it's important to include product people to those discussions, and to give that point of view that maybe for certain situations and certain parts of the product, we need to talk differently to the users. It's like you have a talking map, and it's chatty. It's you feel good as a user, but it fails to lead the way where you need to go, because marketers often follow brands or companies' goals, whereas product they follow users' goals. So include them and then discuss how they're different, and maybe have a tone of voice that's fine, but then implement some writing guidelines for product to design systems. That is the trend for the past years.
The interesting thing there for me, at least, is brand people should invite product people in their meetings. Does the other way also works, or does the brand just give them a document they have to follow? So should brand people be involved with the product meetings?
Not sure they need to be on product meetings, but what I've experienced is great to invite them to working with users, user testing, show them user recordings. Because I sometimes work with brands where the marketing team was very strong and tried to push the brand's voice onto the product, and to show them the evidence on when it's not working, or even show them the tickets that come to customer care or customer success team, that I have those tickets that stumble where there's a glitch within the journey. So they get to see it, and then they get to pull away a little bit from forcing the brand's voice on the product communication. So I don't think they have to be on all of those meetings, but they should be aware.
They should be aware, right?
And maybe have a role like product marketing manager. This is like a connecting link between those two words.
Okay.
It's really
I think that makes a ton of sense. Based on what you said, brand is by definition at least several steps removed from the users, right? So
sometimes, yes.
Sometimes, yes.
You want to find the situations where the product might be a little bit different. So there might be some different principles or product principles, how we approach certain situation. For example, when I work with I worked with hardware, wallet, Trezor, you are dealing with people's money. You are in crypto. You can be all fuzzy when you're talking on socials, on website. When they get to the tough stuff, you have to be super clear. No jokes, no ambiguity. So
right.
To have it well defined, where you need different content patterns and different voice and tonality is really important. But there is some common ground, some brand principles. You definitely don't want them to feel in completely different environment. That wouldn't help.
No, absolutely. And I'm not a content person. I've been everything but a content person. I was a developer, analyst, I did CRO, I did technical SEO, but never really content. The scope of everything content related, the systems and everything, if it's done right, I think most people don't realize how much work there is in this space to make sure everything is following the right voice, the right brand voice, and everything says, like you said, no ambiguity. It's exactly the tone you want to use. So yeah, let's just one final question. If you can spend 1 minute to this. What is a good starting point when you're writing for your product? You have that brand shadow over you. So what is a good starting point? Do you just take what the brand is telling you? How much of product do you pull in? How much of brand when you're just starting to write?
I sit with marketing people. I explain the situation that I've seen within the product. We come to different case scenarios and jobs to be done that are not best served by brand and by brand tonality. So I bring some evidence, and then we talk about with the product team and marketing team how we can navigate. And then mostly I work with product team once we are in sync that things are going to change. I work with product team and designers and also product managers on the situation, with research teams. So you definitely want to get as many insights as you can on what's going on where people struggle. And then you follow up from that. You create content patterns, you create component level content guidelines, because marketing doesn't want to deal on how to write a correct date.
Absolutely not. Right? Of course. That was excellent and really actionable. So I really appreciate you being on the podcast, Lenka. I'm sure everyone listening to this learned a lot, and I will talk to you soon.
Thank you.